Yeah, I thought it was a very sound first half. Not an awful lot going on either way, which is certainly away from home how we would like it. Group looks very sound, very solid. Few chances either way, and it looked to me that the big centre forward just after the break came out with some renewed vigour and energy and created one or two moments that, quite frankly, should have been dealt with. Jack's in a brilliant position to make a challenge for his goal, and I don't know why it doesn't happen. He's in a good spot, and in all fairness, I thought the central defenders did a very, very good job all night, and the group looked like they should be getting points out of the game. Where I was sitting, it's a 0-0 game. I've just looked at the stats, compared the stats, very tight game, few chances either way, and unfortunately, we've fallen the wrong side again.
Hey Gary, Walker Zimmerman came in at halftime, and first of all, was that something that you planned on all along? And the second thing is, did you feel like there was a little bit of a disorganization back there as you switched the middle man out of the three?
Well, first of all, yes, Walker was due to come on. The concern with Walker after a very, very good appearance last weekend was that he would get on this turf. We have no idea, no way of telling how he's going to react with his Achilles or his knee. So I tried to mitigate that risk and bring him in at the break. I thought the back three did a very, very good job in the first half. But as part of Walker's progress back to where we really need him to be in full match fitness, it was certainly a move I was ready to make and wanted to make. In terms of disorganised, I don't think disorganised is the right word for Leao. I think the boy up front, who was very, very awkward, won a couple of challenges early on in that half, put himself in some fairly reasonable positions through his determination, and not a lot else really. And as I've just said, if you look back at the slow motion on the goal that was scored, Jack's in a really good spot. He should make the challenge. It's there to be won. And I don't really know quite what happened. But what I do know is that the ball wriggled out for the big centre forward who won the game for him. And to be quite honest, there was very little other than that in the game.
Yeah, and I just want to ask about going forward. I mean, you scored 4 goals last week here at home, and then going away, obviously it's more difficult and the turf and all that, but it seems like you guys just didn't create much really going forward. Even when you switched to a back four and kind of went to a more positive posture. So I was just curious what happened there and why weren't you able to create as much on the pitch?
Well, I think a couple of reasons for that. Number one, this pitch is not easy to play on. It takes an awful lot for the guys to adapt to it. The ball runs differently. The guys run with the ball differently. If you saw how the guys played last week and some of the quality from Hanny and Sam, you wouldn't have put those guys in that bracket, would you, today? But I think they found it mightily difficult with the pressure and the field to get any traction. The other piece of the puzzle is Jacob. And we've got 3 games in a week here. Jacob has been absolutely fantastic and gives us a totally different dimension. But as I've just stated, the first half was a 0-0, nothing going on. Guys did a great job. And it gave us the opportunity to try and make those moves, to be a little bit more forceful in the second period and try and win the game, given that we've got 3 very difficult games this week. It wasn't to be. We tried to get on the front foot after the goal. Charlotte were in a reasonable position and found the answers to anything we threw at them, really. And in all fairness, it certainly wasn't the same sort of calibre as we saw last week. And the hope is that we can turn the screw again when we meet Toronto on Wednesday.
Yeah, Gary, I guess what were you hoping to get out of Sean Davis and Amar when you subbed them on midway through the second half, and I guess what did you see out of them?
Well, I think Amar is the guy that comes in to maybe dictate the ball and our possession a little bit more, as Annabelle does. Annabelle's a bit of a unicorn in our group. Very, very capable, good vision, good techniques, manages the ball well. And Amar's the closest one to that in the central midfield area. So that was a pretty straightforward swap. I thought we needed to try and get another midfield player into that area just to give us a little bit of traction again. Asked Drew to be a little bit more forceful, maybe play in a more creative role as we move towards the final 20 minutes, when I thought we would go to a back four and give Jacob a little bit more of an opportunity. So that was my feelings behind it.
Yeah, it's been nice to be back. Obviously it was a long road, a long couple of weeks of injury. Happy to be back on the field. Tough one not being able to get the result that we wanted, but still just happy to be back on the field and be able to help the guys.
Hey Shaq, how hard is it to come back to a team where maybe they're not in the best form as you're trying to get more minutes in, but kind of not getting the result as well?
Obviously maybe it's not the best moment to come back. Obviously we still have a lot of work to do, but nevertheless, I think that once we start getting everyone back and everyone back on the same page and more reps and more training, I think we'll be on the right track. So we have another game on Wednesday and another game on Saturday, two big home games that we're looking forward to, and trying to get a result.
Yeah. Shaq, this team in four matches, in four MLS matches away from home, you've lost three of them, drawn the other, I guess. What do you attribute, the team's struggles away from home to for the most part?
I think we do pretty all right for the most part. I think just fine details, when the game, when, for example, started the first half, started the second half, and they have a chance and we have to withstand a little, run a little bit. I think we can do a better job of that. But other than that, I think we're in a lot of games. Obviously just fine details when either end of the field kind of tilts the game in one way or the other. So right now it's tilting in the way that's not in our favor, but hopefully we start to change that soon.
Yeah, Shaq, speaking of those details, since your injury, the team has kind of transformed to a more back three formation, and you've played in both the back three and back four. But do you have a preference in terms of those two, whether you're playing a wing back or a right back, and sort of what are the differences between those for you specifically?
I wouldn't say I have a preference. Obviously, there's pros and cons in all of them. I think it depends on how the team is going. If we're having a better run and with the back four or back five, I think I can always adapt. I think obviously with the back three, you maybe have a little bit more stability in the back, and the wing backs have a little bit more license to get forward. Obviously in the back four, maybe you got to time it a little bit more and be more cautious. But yeah, I just think it depends on the way that the season is going, the way the run of games are going, and I think we can always adapt to either one.